Buongiorno everyone, welcome to the Magpie Channel TV. We've got player ratings here with Kendall. After Newcastle's disappointing 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace, you are deflated after that, aren't you? Decent performance, but no result at the end of it, innit?
Yeah, it just seems like annoying because it wasn't impossible. It was obviously we scored pretty early and then just fell off after that. There's no point in us scoring an early goal if we're not going to continue to press for the rest of the game because we just sit deep. And I mean, even to be fair to Steve Bruce, he even just said in his post-match there, the problem was that we sat back too deep after the goal. And that was the issue. It took him 18 months to realise that that's the problem, which is insane.
It's pretty much what we've been doing for the last year and a half.
So, but it was just awful. The second half was horrible. That was just boring. Like a waste of my time to watch. It was awful, boring. I think we had like 21 shots and like 4 or 5 were on target.
Yeah.
It was awful. There's just no, is clinicality a word? Like, I don't know, but there's just nothing. It was awful. The final third quality was atrocious, really, really bad.
Yeah, so we had plenty of opportunities. We've had as many shots and possession and stuff as we have all season, but we'll go through it one by one. We'll pick them off, and I'll let you start and go with Karl Darlow.
I saw a couple of people on Twitter saying that the goal that deflected off Clark, like he should have done better because I don't think they actually realised it deflected. But I think if it hadn't have deflected, he would have probably got it. And I don't think he was tested too much tonight, really. Both the goals that they scored were, decent finishes, nothing really he could have done at the end, obviously, with the deflection. So, I mean, he can have a 7. I mean, there's nothing really he did wrong. He didn't make a mistake or, but as I say, he wasn't tested really that much by them.
Yeah, like they didn't really attack that much, to be fair, did they? I think after the first 20 minutes, we were the better team by far. We completely dominated. And then, as you can see at the bottom of the screen there, they scored in the 21st and 25th minute. They had about a 10-minute spell where they got on top, got the 2 goals, and that was what won it for them in the end. Darlow really wasn't tested that much. There was an opportunity when we went way too attacking at the end where Andros Townsend should have had a goal, which he fluffed wide, thankfully. But yeah, like you said, the goals that were conceded, there's nothing much he really could have done for him.
No.
Do you think it'll be long before we see Dubravka back?
I kind of hope not because, again, I think he has a commanding presence that Darlow doesn't possess at this point. I think he organises the back line far more. And obviously, if we don't really, I know Lascelles hasn't been really a leader in the past couple of months, but if we don't have him, the organisation, it's not coming from anywhere. So really, I think we could probably do with his command and presence there at this point. So I would like to see him back. Yeah, I think it's probably now time to just stick him in again.
Yeah. I'll go into the defence at right back with Javier Manquillo after a brilliant game in the Everton game. I thought he was okay. Like you can probably say it about most of them. First 20 minutes, great. Then after that, like the most of them, heads dropped a little bit. And the rest of the game, particularly after half time, was just a proper snooze fest, wasn't it? Just a pretty absent second half for Manquillo. But first half, I thought he was pretty good. I think everyone, as I mentioned, started the game just like we left the Everton game. Heads were high, scored an early goal 2 minutes in. But I think Manquillo was one of the key players who started well and drifted off into nothing. So I can give him a 5. Fabian Schär.
Again, the absolute complete change from the Everton game. He was like, did we give him 10s? I think we probably did it on player ratings against the Everton game. He was brilliant. He was getting forward. He was dynamic. He looked brilliant against them. And tonight, I mean, he had 1 or 2 chances where he was in the box. I think he had one in the first half, but otherwise, obviously for their first goal, he was nowhere to be found. Batshuayi got in front of him, and Gary Cahill just ran round, and he was just nowhere to be found. Absolute complete difference again, but that's because we sat back again, and clearly he's not the type of player to control that sort of back line. That's just not him. So as we've seen today again, but what did you just give Manquillo there? 6? 5?
5.
Yeah. probably Fabian Schär can be the same, because I mean, as I say, their goal, Gary Cahill's goal, he was just absolutely nowhere to be found. Couldn't track Gary Cahill at all, and didn't really do too much. So yeah.
All right, I'll go on to Ciaran Clark, and despite I actually thought he had a pretty decent game, you can maybe point half a finger at him in both of the goals, really.
Yeah.
Like the first one, like he tried to do his job. He tried to put a foot in the leg. It was a foot in the way, but it was a little bit of like a half block. Like he could have done a little bit more. As you mentioned, Darlow before, he probably would have got there. Like as a defender, like you don't just let shots go on target. You've got to get a foot in. You've got to try and block it. But the deflection did help, and it was him that tried to do that for the second one. I think he was meant to be the one marking Gary Cahill.
Yeah,
I think he got blocked off though. Again, that wasn't really his fault. He was trying to track his man. He got blocked off, and that's what led to Cahill being in acres of space and finished it as he does. Like he's been doing that for the last 10 years in the Premier League. Gary Cahill, he's a great header of the ball. Whoever is marking him needs to be tighter. Other than that, decent. I thought he had a decent game.
Yeah, there's not really much to say about it, is it? Because like I say, it wasn't like really.
It's like a half and half performance from everyone, really. So again, like it's boring, but he can have a 5 as well.
Yeah.
So like it was pretty average. Jamal Lewis on the left. I think he maybe got another 10 on Saturday, did he?
Yeah. I think he got pretty high scores again on Saturday, but he absolutely got bullied by IU tonight. Bullied, especially when they had like the second half of the first half when they were like on top. Or it was awful viewing, like really. And then as I say, like they didn't attack in the sense of our defenders had to do a massive job. It was just like as I said, they were just more clinical with their goals. Their goals just went in. Their finishing was better, and for most of it, we were attacking the most. So yeah, I mean, look, just all the defenders can have 5. That's fair, because I don't really think any of them did a horrendous job or anything, but as you say, it was half and half. People probably think we're being harsh, but it's just there's not really much to go off to be honest.
Yeah, particularly defensively, because I don't really think Crystal Palace really played that well, as mentioned before. With Darlow, didn't really have that much to do, so we'll maybe be a bit more generous going forward with some of the attacking players. And I'll go with the goal scorer, Jonjo Shelvey. I thought he had a pretty good game. Like, he was another funny one, to be fair. Like, started the game really well. Obviously got the goal from the edge of the box. Almost had a like-for-like one like 10 minutes later, but he lost his foot and fell over just before the strike. Second half, I thought he did all right in possession. He was spraying it about a bit, but just not clinical enough. Like, we're just chugging along, like trying to find the equaliser. It didn't really look like there was a great amount of intensity, no real desire to get the equaliser. No. I think we were the better team in the second half, but we just needed to move it up a gear. Like, we were there. We had the players ready to do it. Like, I think Wilson and Almirón, Fraser, they were all having good games, but it was just, what do we do? How do we get this goal? Like, it just seemed a little bit boring. Like, we're just chugging along as if 2-1 will do, or if we get 2-2, that'll do.
And he was given a couple of silly fouls away tonight, which he hasn't done for a while. But tonight he was given just some silly fouls away.
Yeah. Isaac Hayden?
I mean, look, he had to drop back again when they decided to just stick like 15 attackers on. I don't even know what that was about. Lost all shape completely. When that happened, there was just no the shape that had been there in the first half. And obviously when we were trying to control the ball a little bit more, just went because Isaac Hayden had to drop back into kind of right back. When Manquillo took off for Gayle.
Yeah.
Whoever it was. And it just lost shape. I mean, look, again, same. What did you give Shelvey? I'm kind of basing it off that.
Did I give Shelvey a rating? I don't know. I'll give him a 6. Yeah. I don't think I did. I'll give him a 6. Yeah.
It's just so difficult to judge that game tonight because we probably didn't deserve to lose in the sense of how we played. It was just our finishing was awful. Isaac can have a 6 as well. I was probably going to give him a 6. Just he had to drop back out of position again, and
Jeff Hendrick, another start for him after he had a pretty good game against Everton as well. Not too surprising to see pretty much the exact same lineup, apart from Jamal Lascelles.
Yeah.
Same starting 11 from the weekend, where Hendrick did have a good game. And again, I think he started the game pretty well. He had a chance of his own, putting one just wide. Thought he should have done better. Maybe just didn't connect with it as well as he would have liked to have. And then, like he was another one similar to the back four after the first 20 minutes or so. Just petered on, chugged along. I was quite happy to say I'll give Steve Bruce or Graeme Jones, whichever one it was, the credit for taking him off for Saint-Maximin. That was quite an inspired sub, which I didn't see coming. So yeah, I was happy about that one.
Make ridiculous subs like take Fraser off and put him on or something.
And yeah, like I wouldn't have been surprised. Like that would have been the change that I would have made on Saturday, which I actually think it was Fraser for Saint-Maximin. But I thought Fraser was having a good game, didn't deserve to come off. Yeah. Same with Almirón, same with Wilson. So how do you get Saint-Maximin on? Because you need Saint-Maximin. Like he needs to come on, whoever it's for. You need him in. But for it to be Jeff Hendrick was actually quite a pleasant surprise. And now we've got Joe Willock coming in. Like I think this formation's doing well. Like we just need to keep going with it. Like obviously we got the win against Everton. But we're the better team tonight, despite the results. But going forward with Willock, guaranteed game time, I feel like Jeff Hendrick's going to be the one to sit out, which obviously means in turn that'll be Matty Longstaff losing more game time. But if Jeff Hendrick's losing place and he just becomes the squad rotation player that he was meant to be coming in, then I'm okay with that. Yeah, hey, I think everyone else will be relatively happy. But yeah, Jeff can have a 5 for tonight. He was the first one off. 63 minutes he played, so yeah, he can have a rather generous 5, stroking on a 4. And the front line, I'm not even sure how we really played it, but we'll go with Almirón. I've still got the same positions as we did on Saturday because I think that's how we started.
It was, yeah.
I know, like Miggy is the false 9, Wilson on the right.
Yeah,
it was more Wilson in the middle today. When it's like he wasn't as out on the right as much as he was on Saturday, but still was drifting out there. But yeah, I'll let you go with Miggy.
Almirón again, the skills in the first half was unreal. Like he was back to his best. I thought he was attempting things he hadn't for a few months, and he was confident. His head was up. Like he's always the hard worker on the pitch, always. And I just really, we need him in that team. We need the dynamic of him and the way he plays in that team if we want to push on with this sort of attacking mindset. I thought he was really good. He had a couple of chances. That free kick that just scraped the bar was really good. We don't really do that well with free kicks or anything like that. So, did really well. Yeah, he can probably have a 7, Miggy. I think he was decent. I don't really have a lot of negatives about him usually. He puts in the tackles. He works defensively regardless when we sit back deep, and yeah, he can have a 7.
Yeah, I think his last 5, maybe 6 games, he's been putting in a shift. Like he's been one of our better, more consistent players over the last few weeks. So he just needs to keep going. I thought that Leeds goal would have given him the momentum. I thought he might have pushed on after that.
I wished it had,
Yeah. Like to be fair, it hasn't declined like the Everton game and this game. He's been good. We just need to keep it up because we know he kind of drifts in and out. I think he plays on confidence. I think once his head goes down, he's in a bit of a rut for a spell of a few games. So we need him to keep his chin up and just keep chugging along. If that free kick had gone in, then I think we would have seen the world of difference in him. It was a good effort as well because, like you say, we don't really do well with free kicks. When we got that, I was thinking it's not a very good position. Like Jacob Murphy scored from a similar position against Wolves, but he wasn't there. It was a better set up for a left footer, but we haven't really got many good left-footed takers. So I was thinking maybe Shelvey will take it. But yeah, when Almirón took it, I was like, go on, lad, good effort.
Yeah.
Ryan Fraser, I thought he had a good game today. For being ill, I was surprised to see him in the starting lineup after Brucey's chatted shit in his press conference, as he always does.
As usual.
Fraser's a doubt. He's been sick all weekend. But Saint-Maximin, he's had a few games off the bench. He's looking good. He's probably going to start. He's on the bench. Fraser starts. Fucking dickhead. Well, yeah, to be fair to him, really, really good game. It's probably one of the best I've actually seen him. Like as a wide player, out on that left-hand side, took a few corners as well. I've got jotted down here that he put in 20 crosses and couldn't really have done much better of them. I think it maybe is like Wilson, he's not the best header, despite the despite the Everton goal, which was obviously a world-class header. Like normally when he gets some opportunities, it just comes off the top of his head or he gets distracted by the player in front of him. I think he had one of them today. I think Shelvey got in front of him, which meant he skewed his header wide. If we had like an Andy Carroll, like a I like an Alan Shearer, someone like really good in the air. Then I think Fraser would have fucking 10 assists this season, right?
Yeah.
Like based off his crossing today, it was class. So I'm pleased he's playing. I hope this is the fitness and the confidence he needs, because he's been way too in and out of not form. It's more fitness. Like, he came in after 5 months out. He's started to come in, getting a little bit of fitness, a little bit of momentum. Then injuries came, and then coronavirus came, and then so he's had an unfortunate season, but his last couple of games have been fantastic, and I thought today was great. So you can have a 7. Callum Wilson.
Yeah, again, I think he had a relatively decent game today, despite obviously, not scoring. He had enough chances. He was tracking back a little bit more today, which I'm not used to seeing him, and I always say that that's probably his downfall, especially when we play so deeply. But he was in the game. He had some decent chances. First half, he had some really decent chances. I really like the formation with a front three, because I think the attackers we've got all work off each other. Like, there's no like, as I say, like, Callum Wilson's not a sole striker. They really do work together, and they bounce off each other. And obviously directing the balls into the box more. He's more on the receiving end of things. So yeah, I mean, I think he can have a 7, probably because he didn't score. And if he doesn't score, he kind of doesn't do it a lot, but that's not his fault. So yeah, he can have a 7 as well for me.
Yeah, I think maybe with this kind of formation, like whether he's on the right or playing like off the striker, wherever he's playing, you start to see more of the ball, and you start to realise how good of a footballer he actually is.
Yes.
He's not just a goal poacher. Like at the start of the season, he was scoring penalties and tap-ins, and he couldn't really get a goal for Toffee if it wasn't one of them. But you see like how good of a player he actually is, the strength he's got on the ball. There was one moment where he turned and held off Riedeveld, however you say his name. I don't know what he's called. Like, he's such a strong player. He's good on the ball, good at dribbling, and he was the one that laid it off for Shelvey, I believe, as well. So he'll probably get an assist today as well. So yeah, great performance from Wilson. It's good to see him in the game more, but you do just want to see him in the box. You want to see him on the last line, like trying to play as a striker more often. We'll touch on Saint-Maximin, the first change after 63 minutes for Jeff Hendrick, as was said. And as soon as he gets into form, I can't wait, because you see the flair that he's got that we really, really miss when he's not there. I think that Everton game on Saturday, we were crying out for him to come on. And once he did, we got a couple of goals out of it. That still just is the question of end product from him, though, because he was playing on the left-hand side mainly. He was cutting in on the right. He was looking for a shot or a cross. The ones that he did get off were blocked by the first man, but 9 times out of 10, he was just running into people. It's like the decision making. Like,
he does a lot. His decision making is poor, very poor.
Yeah, it's frustrating, because you want to see him. Like, you see, he's got the desire, and he's got the pace, and he's got the skill to beat a man. He'll beat 2, beat 3, shoot, cross. Yeah. Oh no, you've just run into someone. It's annoying, because we know it's there. Like he is just coming back from fitness, as Brucey says. This is now his 4th game off the bench in a row. So hopefully sooner or later he can be back in the starting lineup. Might have to change things up though, because I don't think Almirón or Fraser deserve drops. We might have to look at a new formation to get them in. Maybe the 4-2-3-1 like we've been crying out for all season.
That would be more than about.
That might be nice.
Hayden and Willock, and then Fraser, Almirón, Maximin, and Wilson. That's what I would like to see, I think.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but I don't know if they would go for Brucey or Jones, because that would mean maybe leaving Shelvey out. I don't know if they'd be inclined to leave Shelvey out. Like, someone's got to be sacrificed. If it's out of any one of them, then yeah, I'd probably rather it be Shelvey. Certainly Hendrick. But yeah, something's got to give to kind of 100%. Play that formation. Yeah. But yeah, decent enough game, but still not fully fit. Decision making was poor. End product a little bit poor, but he can have a 6 for his run out. And the other 2, I don't really feel got involved that much. Dwight Gayle, this was the frustrating thing for me. The substitutes are just proper typical Steve Bruce. Were down, chuck the kitchen sink in, take all the defenders off, put all the strikers on. It was Manquillo came off for Gayle, Ciaran Clark off for Andy Carroll. What formation were we playing? Fraser was playing as a right back. Hayden was playing as a centre back. Like, Almirón was playing centre mid with Shelvey. Like, where are the others? They're just piled in. I say like Shelvey got in the way of Wilson for a header.
Yeah.
I think someone else got in the way of someone else for when I think Saint-Maximin was cutting in. Like, it was just mayhem. It's just chaos. There's no shape, no form. It's shit that from Brucey. Like I like to see him go for it, but not to that extent. Not where you're just chucking all the shape out of the window. Like, players getting in each other's way.
Maximin and Gayle on, fine, but or like Maximin and Carroll or whatever, then what was the point of the third attack and sub? Like, there wasn't any, because by the time he put him on, there wasn't even any time for Carroll to get in the game if that's what he wanted. Like, if that's what he thought was going to happen. Like, there wasn't any time. It was stupid. It was really, really stupid.
I think as soon as it happened, they were starting to cut through as well. I think they seen that we were lacking. Like, who did we have? Who was the only centre backs? It was Lewis and Schär. Lewis and Schär were the only defensive players on, with Hayden sliding in there as well.
We have the least defensive mindsets out of like all of our back line, because they're the ones that like to bomb forward. Like,
and like they did start to cut through. They were having a couple of good runs. They were unfortunate really not to make anything of it. They should have done better. Like, that was the time Townsend put his shot wide. Like, they could have been 3-1 if they were a little bit more clinical with their chances after Brucey tried to throw in the kitchen sink. But the one good thing that did come from that at the last second, well, it was 4 minutes of stoppage time. This was nearly into the 96th minute. Like, Lewis had the ball on the left-hand side between him and Hayden. They were just trying. I was just shouting at the TV, lump it in, fucking get it in. But over time, the referee's going to blow his whistle any second. Lewis is dilly-dallying on the left-hand side and eventually got the ball into Andy Carroll, the perfect player. As I said, when you get a cross in, Andy Carroll's the man you want in the box. Beat his man in the air, headed down, well saved by the keeper. I thought that was going to be...
The keeper had the last throw of the game, then it finished there.
Thought that was going to be the moment. But like, Carroll didn't really do much other than that. We'll get on to Steve Bruce momentarily instead of Graeme Jones, as we spoke on Saturday. But he started from the stands. Brucey had him up in the crowd for the opening of the game. What the fuck was that all about?
No surprise there. His ego getting in the way.
Doesn't like being number 2, does he?
No, I don't. But the thing is, right, if you really are, as I've said a million times, if he really wants his team to do well and he genuinely wants to be, a manager who progresses this team, surely he should have saw the difference against Everton compared to the last couple of games, or even the last season, and the whole of the season so far. Surely he should have thought, okay, his influence helped. And so then, to me, I would be like, I would actually really like your input, to be honest, on the sides, on the sidelines. Even if you didn't want him to be in the spotlight, you could have just said, I would like your input, but just not like, don't shout over us or don't like undermine us. Like, if that's fair enough, but to have him sat in the stands with Ben Dawson was just weird. It was so strange. You could tell straight away why he did it. I mean, some people probably try to argue that he did it so that Graeme Jones could see a better view and see if there was any changes, and and like tactical changes. And I know that'll be the excuse from some, or even from Bruce himself, but I don't think it was that. I think it was just a complete ego trip, and he just wanted Graeme Jones sat back away because everyone was like, oh, look at him. Because in the first half, I think it was the first half, it was the most animated I've ever seen him and Steve Agnew on the sidelines ever. I've never barely ever seen Steve Bruce like give instructions or speak or anything. And today he was proper shouting his blooming back off. But I just thought, that's totally like, we know why you're doing it. It's so transparent. It's so
weird, I can do that too.
That literally what it is. Like, he didn't want Graeme Jones to be getting all the spotlight. And as well, in his post-match interview, we said, this formation's been a month in the making. I was like, you liar. You actual liar.
You've been playing the same shit for 18 months.
Literally completely trying to undermine Graeme Jones. I thought was hilarious. So that then I knew why he'd made him sit back, and I just thought, you're so funny, man. So funny.
We'll finish on a rating for Steve Bruce then after the formation. Whoever it was, Graeme or Bruce. Bruce is the manager, so he can have the rating, including the bizarre changes at the end, the formation. How did you see Bruce's performance tonight?
Look, he kept the same formation and pretty much the same team, bar injury with Tiller Cells. So great that you get a point for that. That's brilliant. You lose a point for the absolute, as we mentioned, the ridiculous substitutes that were made, because we completely lost all sense of cohesion. We weren't compact anymore. We had no formation. We just didn't. Honestly, I really don't understand them changes whatsoever. Yes, the maximum one, great, was made at the right time was the right sub as well. But the Carroll and Gayle subs, I just don't even actually know what's going on there. Fair enough if it was like 1-1 and we were trying to get the win or whatever. Fair enough, taking your defence off, that's fine. But where you're down 2-1 and they're already attacking you anyway, it's like, why have you done that? I genuinely don't know. He can have another point gained as well for his post-match interview because he was pretty honest up until the point that he said this formation's been a month in the making, well, which is a lie. Look, he looked, I don't know if they've seen the video that was posted yesterday, but he looked ill. He looked ill in his pre-match conference. He looked absolutely poorly. He was just mentally drained. He was sighing, couldn't be bothered to talk. Like he just looked poorly. Honestly, if my job was doing that to me,
I know.
I'd just
he looked mad stressed.
He's not like young. Do you know what I mean? Like surely at 60-year-old, you don't want to be dealing with that kind of pressure and that stress. I know it's money, and I know obviously you get a lot of money for it, but I just couldn't deal with it. Bruce can have a 3. I think that's maybe nice because pretty much the team wasn't his choice. It was his choice to stick with it. It was clearly Graeme Jones's choice from the previous game. So, yeah, I'll give you a bit of praise, Bruce. I'm not going to lie, I'm not hating on you today, apart from the little tiny odd things that you've done that have annoyed us. But, yeah.
But that press conference and all, though, just going back to that, like, over the last 18 months, like, especially pretty much since Christmas, since Graeme Jones came in, the performances were shocking. Like 8 games without a win, like 2 goals, 11 games, 2 goals. And he was coming out with absolute bollocks, like being like optimistic, like, I've seen enough to be optimistic. Are you fucking mad? Like in games when we were absolutely dreadful, he's just coming out with this bullshit. Then after the Everton game, best we've played all season, fantastic away win. And he's like that, he's like just pissed off, like can't be asked to talk to the press, like
surely your head's up after that.
Yeah, it is. But it obviously is like he's getting like wound up by like Graeme Jones getting all the plaudits. Like he just knows he's a second class manager. Even that's being generous. Like he's not even fucking second class. Like someone else has come in, changed the style of play, changed the personnel, and we're looking good. And he just seems like he can't take it. He knows
the cheek of him to take the credit, though, is unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe the gall of him to take the credit for that. He's hating being undermined. He's absolutely hating it. But someone said on Twitter earlier it might be like a Mike Ashley tactic in the sense of, like, might make him want to walk because he feels, like, underappreciated and stuff. Fair enough. That's right. Maybe. But I really don't think that's probably why. But, yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Kendall. That'll wrap up player ratings for this week after an unfortunate defeat. Good performance. Well done to the lads. Hopefully we can move that on to Saturday, going against a Southampton team that's just been pumped 9-0. So hopefully we can take that into the game. Maybe it's a bad thing because I think it is. Southampton are now 4 games without a win, I think. So obviously step up Newcastle. They'll probably fucking beat us 9-0. They've had 2 red cards. Yeah, they've had 2 red cards as well. So there'll be a couple of players suspended. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. I cannot wait. Hope to see you there. Hopefully we should have a big renty back on Saturday as well. Hopefully you'll be touched down in Dubai by that point and settled in, set up for the game. So we'll see you all. I hope
it is a win on Saturday. It's my birthday, so.
Oh, is it? Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so I hope it is a win. Great.
Well, hopefully we'll see you there. Hopefully you have a good birthday, and we'll see you there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Check out Kendall's channel in the comments below as well. Thank you very much, and enjoy yourself.